Ivan Katz here, and today I'm going to talk about Danelectro. I've got a collection of guitars, and 6 of which here are Danelectros. So Danelectro was a company that was started in 1954 by Nathan Daniel, and he was an amp guy. He'd been building amps before that and selling them to Sears, Montgomery Ward's catalog companies like that. And so they said, hey, we want to sell guitars too. So we started making guitars. And that's basically how these guitars came about. And they're legendary. This one, famously, well, one like it, was played by Jimmy Page in Led Zeppelin. And he used it actually as a session guitar long ago. He uses it live when he plays Kashmir and things like that. But it's just a very iconic guitar. Hendrix used one. And Mark Knopfler, you pretty much name it, and they have used it. So it's pretty cool. Looks cool. It's got the lipstick pickups. This is a sort of a, they would call it a U1 today. I'm not sure the model number designation back then, but it did come with a case that had an amplifier in it. Pretty cool. And as you can see, it's a Silvertone. This is from the mid-60s. It's got kind of a metal flake finish. And that's really, really cool. A tone and volume knob. So they were simplistic in their build. No fancy inlays, but they worked. You know, these guitars were easy to play. They were relatively inexpensive. They were built to a price point, but sometimes inexpensive things are cool and chic and hip, and these always have been really. So very cool. So I'll take you down the timeline here. I've kind of arranged them in order. And you can see the Longhorn here. That's a famous, they were making basses. And the Longhorn bass was very popular. They were innovative. They came up with the first 12-string guitar. And this particular 12-string I think is really cool. REM's Peter Buck uses the same one. He uses 12-string Danelectros, and this was the one that came out in the 90s. So the company was doing well, and it lasted from 1954 to 69. But in 1966, it was sold to the Music Company of America, MCA. The guy that founded it was getting a little tired of the business, and that's basically it. So it was sold for $6 million. So in 1966, thereabouts, Sears, Roebuck decided, hey, we're going to not buy the guitars from you anymore. And so they were a large part of the production, and that really forced the end of the business. They had been making amps, and they sold those also, and then effects came into play as well. The effects boxes were very well sought after as well. So the vintage Danelectros remain collectible, and like I said, you can get this with even a guitar amplifier case, so kind of an all-in-one package there. So that was it basically. By the end of the 60s they weren't being made anymore, but along in the 90s, well, another interested party came along. Steve Reitzinger had been making his own effects and that sort of thing, and he was an entrepreneur, and he found the opportunity to buy the name in the late 90s, and they started producing the effects again, and well, then there was a call for the guitars, and so they started producing the guitars again. And there you go, the guitars came out again, and this is a U1, pretty similar to Jimmy Page's from back in the day, sort of a retro, only one pickup, but it had the volume and tone kind of in one knob. So that was pretty cool. Again, just minimalistic and very easy to use. This one has been a little customized by a local guitar luthier guy. So it's got different tuning pegs and just a couple of modifications, but it's really, really nice, easy to play. And they're not super, super light, but they're kind of just right, and they're easy to play, and no muss, no fuss. This one kind of modeled after the Longhorn bass. Super, super cool. And it would have been like a U3 with 3 pickups. So the lipstick pickups live on, and like I said, they made 12 strings. They invented the 12 string in like 1961, the 12 string electric. And speaking of electric acoustic, this was called the convertible. Why? Because you could buy it without a pickup. So you'd have sort of an acoustic guitar to learn, and then when you advanced, well, then you could add a pickup. You can see it has the pickup here. It also has a custom Bigsby tremolo, which really makes this one stand out to me. That's why I bought it. Blue sparkle and the Bigsby just really stood out. And wow, I love these two especially. But I'd never even seen one of these. I've seen the longhorn basses. They had a short horn too. But I'd never seen a longhorn guitar, and kind of in this black and gray. It looked really, really cool. So they've been very successful at making the effects. I think the first year they sold like 170,000 of a certain effect. And they're famous for those early kind of effects, vibrato, chorus, reverb, octavers, things like that. And people really, really love them. And they build them and make them, just like the guitars, very affordable. And so it's really kind of cool because everybody can afford to get these great sounds. And, you know, in terms of vintage guitars, these are not so expensive in terms of like Fenders or Gibsons from that era. So there you go. The Yvette's Corporation came along in the late 90s, and they're still being built today. In about 2000, and I think it was about 2016, they came out with some different models, and I really like this one too. It's got kind of everything. Affordability and 2 lipstick pickups, and there you go. Danelectro, totally shielded. So there you have it, from 1954 through 1969 basically, and then again from the late 90s all the way until now. You have these just very playable, classic, bright colors, and really eclectic mix of guitars, and of course effects, which I don't have here. But they even built sitars back in the day, and they were just a very innovative, interesting company. Lots of people play them, and I just think they're very, very cool instruments. So there you go. Check out all my other videos if you like cars. Just Google Drivin Ivan and any car. I have lots of music videos where I play all the instruments, including Free Your Mind, which is a video which features my guitar collection and some of my car collection too, along with What Would I Say, an older video of my guitar collection. And of course, don't forget to check out my COVID-19 kind of funny video sung to the tune of Hey 19, and also my literal video for Chris Isaac's Wicked Game. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Please subscribe and like here on YouTube, and if you want to support my content, that would be great. I have a Patreon site, Drivin Ivan Katz, as well. Again, thanks for watching. I'm Ivan Katz.